This is the M1 Garand. General George Patton called it the greatest fighting implement ever created. I might have to agree. So this is the rifle itself. It did not come with a sling. I added that. The furniture, it came with a hackberry stock. And it's okay. It's not as nice as the walnut. And Robert, he was changing his stock on his, so he gave me the walnut stock off his M1, which was very nice of him. Just a short history of the M1 Garand. It was adopted as the infantry rifle in 1936. It went out in the trials. It was designed by John Garand. I think it's pronounced Garand, but everybody calls the rifle a Garand. Springfield went into mass production of the M1 in 1937. And the rifles were delivered in 1938. The Garand is a semi-auto rifle that holds 8 and uses end block clips to hold the rounds. And we'll look at loading it here in just a minute. This is a field grade reclaimed rifle from the CMP. They are taking parade rifles that were plugged and welded, had the barrels welded to the receiver to make them inert, and removing the weld and the plug and returning them to a functioning state. They did a lot of work to make sure that it was safe. On this one you can see here where they ground the weld off. But they do magnetic particle testing to make sure that there's no cracks, and to make sure that cutting the welds didn't compromise the receiver. They took a few sample rifles, completely removed the tempering from the metal, and then shot overcharged rounds through it, and it functioned exactly like it should. The rack grade and field grades that you normally get aren't particle tested. And through all the testing they did, showed that it's 100% safe. And this one, the tag that came with it, shows what armorer worked on it, the manufacturer, the grade, and then the throat erosion, which +1, it's a great rifle. The receiver is from 1941. I believe it was July 1941, so it's a pre-war receiver. And then they kind of throw on whatever parts they have. The elevation on the sight, it's a little bit worn. Not all the clicks are there, but I was able to, with the help of another guy down at the range, Tony, who is one of the older fellas that's always out there with their Garands. But was able to get it sighted in and ringing steel at 200 yards. So the overall length is 43.5 inches. The barrel length, there's 24-inch barrels. It weighs 9.5 pounds empty and 11.6 pounds loaded and with the bayonet. And if you have a Garand, you should have a bayonet. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a reproduction, and I'll do a video on that sometime. I'll fit it to the rifle here in a little bit. It fires 30-06, and they're not quite as potent as a modern 30-06. That's something to keep in mind. They say not to use a modern 30-06. Use specific Garand load 30-06, and you can buy them. I've got some Cellar and Bellet, but I've also started reloading Garand loads. So to load it, this is a little awkward angle, so hopefully I can do this. Over here, pull the charging handle back, it'll lock open. Insert your end block clip, and they teach you to put the side of your hand against the charging handle as you push down, but I just usually hold it back with my left thumb as I insert with my right thumb. The charging handle will either go forward on its own, or you need to give it a little bump, and that'll send it home. The safety is here. Push it back and it goes into the trigger guard, which on a battle rifle, no problem. Civilian rifle, I'd prefer it not that way, so you don't have to stick your finger in there to take the safety off. But I guess if you're ready to shoot, you're taking the safety off, your finger's going to be there, whatever. If you need to unload your end block clip, that's very easy. Pull your charging handle back. And then on the left side, there's a button. That'll pop out your end block clip. And when the last round ejects, it ejects the end block clip, which is the classic M1 ping. The Garand can be easily separated into its three main groups: the trigger group, the stock, and the receiver with the barrel. You just have to open the trigger guard, and having the trigger guard tool makes it a whole lot easier. But that swings open and it just pulls out, and the receiver can be separated from the stock. And put it back together is just as easy. And give it a little bump and it's locked in. The Garand also has a stacking swivel. So if two or more of your friends want to get together with you, you can make a cone of Garands. In the buttstock is a little trap door, and that's for the cleaning kit. I have a replica cleaning kit, the oil tube, and the cleaning rod set. I don't keep them in here because they kind of jingle jangle and it's a little annoying, but it's nice to have them. Now, your bayonet. Again, this is a reproduction, and they're somewhat sharp, kind of pointy. I actually have already cut myself. If you watch the short of me showing the rifle, at the very end you can see I'm bleeding because I cut myself. But you've got your bayonet lug, and there's a slot in the butt of the bayonet. This hole here slides over your barrel. That's it. You're ready to charge. To remove it, there's a little button. Slides right off. If you have a Garand, you should have a bayonet. Just saying. This is my 1941 Springfield M1 Garand. I love it. Once you get it sighted in, it's accurate. It's a little heavier, being wood stock, but that soaks up the recoil of that 30-06. But it was boyhood dream, and I couldn't be happier.